Society's loudest lie is that wealth equals worth, and most men swallow it whole, chasing status like it's oxygen. They drown in debt, suffocate under expectations and call it success. But here's the truth they'll never tell you. The loudest wallets often hide the emptiest lives. Sigma males? They're the quiet disruptors who've already hacked the game. Welcome to Sigma Male Community, where we don't play by society's rules, we rewrite them. Today we're exposing the 11 reasons why Sigma males don't live above their means. This isn't just about money, it's about mastery. It's about weaponizing discipline, rejecting the gilded cages, and building empires that don't need applause. If you're tired of watching others flex borrowed lives while you grind in silence, this video is your blueprint. Stay locked in, this is where the rebellion starts. 1. Weaponizing invisibility. Sigma males don't just embrace anonymity, they wield it like a tactical advantage. While others broadcast their wealth, posting luxury cars and designer fits to feel validated, Sigmas cultivate invisibility. That decade-old car isn't a sign of struggle, it's camouflage. The unremarkable wardrobe? Body armor against envy and expectation. They know that true power lies in being underestimated. When you're invisible, you're free to maneuver unseen, unjudged, and unbothered. No one's watching your moves, which means no one's blocking them either. This isn't about hiding out of fear, it's about strategic positioning. Society's obsessed with visibility, but Sigmas see the trap. The more you flaunt, the more you invite scrutiny, envy, and pressure to maintain the facade. They'd rather be the ghost in the machine, quietly stacking wins while others exhaust themselves performing for likes. And when the inevitable shakeup comes, markets crash, trends flip, or the economy tightens, the Sigma isn't scrambling. He's already executing his pre-planned exit, 0 witnesses, 0 drama. Picture this: 2 men walk into a room. One's dripping in logos, loud with borrowed swagger. The other's quiet, unassuming, with eyes that see through walls. Who's got the real leverage? Sigmas know the answer. They don't need to prove anything because their results speak in silence. The world underestimates them, and that's exactly how they like it. Stoicism teaches that true strength is internal, not external. Sigmas live this. They don't need the world's approval because their validation comes from within. While others chase the spotlight, Sigmas thrive in the shadows, where real moves are made. Their quiet confidence? It's louder than any flex. 2. Debt, the invisible cage. Debt isn't just a line on a spreadsheet, it's a soul parasite. Sigmas see it for what it is. A chain tethering them to jobs they hate, deadlines they resent, and lifestyles that hollow them out. They'd rather grind in silence, driving a rust bucket, than glitter in golden handcuffs. Why? Because leveraged luxury is modern slavery. Every payment is a reminder that you're not free, you're owned. Freedom isn't leased, it's seized through ruthless ownership. Most men don't see the cage until it's locked. They sign up for 72-month car loans and 30-year mortgages, thinking they're winning. But Sigmas know the game. Debt is a leash and the lender holds the other end. They refuse to trade their autonomy for temporary comfort. Imagine working 60-hour weeks just to pay for a house you barely live in. Sigmas would rather own a shack outright than rent a palace on someone else's terms. Take a guy who financed a $70,000 truck to impress his buddies. Now he's sweating overtime shifts, praying the repo man doesn't show up. Compare that to the Sigma driving a paid-off beater, sleeping easy with cash in the bank and no one to answer to. One's a prisoner, the other's a king. Sigmas choose freedom over flash every time. Stoics like Epictetus preached that true freedom comes from wanting less, not having more. Sigmas embody this. They don't need to borrow to feel big because their power isn't tied to possessions. It's forged in independence. Debt might buy you a throne, but it's still a cage. 3. Frugality, the ultimate power move. To the average guy, frugality screams cheap. To Sigmas, it's a silent declaration of war on consumerism. Every dollar not spent on depreciating distractions is ammunition stockpiled for future domination. While influencers beg for clicks with Rolex flexes, Sigmas are building exit ramps from the rat race. Their restraint isn't weakness. It's a middle finger to a system that profits on insecurity. Frugality isn't about deprivation, it's about leverage. Sigmas know that the less they need, the more power they hold. They're not impressed by shiny things because they've seen behind the curtain. Most wealth is just polished debt. Think of the guy who drops $5,000 on a watch to feel successful, while the Sigma invests that same cash into something that pays him back. One's a peacock, the other's a predator. Imagine a Sigma at a bar. Everyone's buying overpriced rounds to look generous. He's sipping water, unbothered, knowing his bank account's growing while theirs shrink. It's not about stinginess, it's about strategy. He's not there to impress strangers. He's there to win a game they don't even know they're playing. This is where Stoicism flexes its muscle. Marcus Aurelius didn't need a palace to feel like an emperor. His power came from within. Sigmas get this. They don't need to buy status because they already own something priceless. Control. Frugality isn't a sacrifice, it's a flex. For control, clout. Clout addicts trade autonomy for applause. Sigmas trade applause for autonomy. They'd rather command a modest empire unseen than perform as a broke king on society's stage. Flashy cars? Distractions. Designer labels? Uniforms for the controlled. Real power isn't trending, it's the ability to vanish overnight without permission slips from banks or bosses. Most men chase clout because they're scared of obscurity. But Sigmas thrive in it. They know that the louder you live, the more you're owned, by expectations, by envy, by the need to keep up. Picture the influencer who's one missed payment away from losing his leased Lumbo, versus the Sigma who could walk away from everything tomorrow and not blink. Who's really winning? Think about social media. Guys posting gym selfies and vacation pics, desperate for validation. Sigmas don't play that game. They're too busy building something real, something that doesn't need a filter or a hashtag. They don't care if the world notices because their focus is on what they can control, not what they can show off. Stoicism teaches that the only thing you truly control is yourself. Sigmas live by this code. They don't need external validation because their worth isn't tied to likes or follows. They're not here to impress, they're here to transcend. Control is their currency and they don't spend it lightly. 5. The option matrix. Sigmas architect their lives like escape artists. Minimal drag, maximum exits. They reject McMansions and luxury leases not from lack, but from strategy. Why chain yourself to payments when you could pivot continents on 72 hours' notice? Obligations drown potential, options weaponize it. They're not stuck, they're fluid, ready to adapt to whatever life throws their way. Most people build lives like anchors, tying themselves to one place, one job, one lifestyle. Sigmas build lives like parachutes, light, flexible, and ready to deploy. Imagine a guy locked into a $3,000 monthly rent, panicking when his company downsizes. Now picture the Sigma with no debt, low overhead, and a packed bag. He's gone before the dust settles, chasing the next opportunity. This isn't about fear of commitment, it's about mastery of freedom. Sigmas know that every yes to a big expense is a no to a dozen possibilities. They'd rather rent a cheap apartment and keep their options open than buy a dream home that turns into a nightmare when the market shifts. Flexibility is their superpower. This is Stoic foresight in action. Seneca said, "Fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling." Sigmas don't wait to be dragged. They prepare for chaos by keeping their options open and their obligations minimal. When the storm hits, they're not sinking, they're already airborne. Wake up, your escape plan starts now. To the lone wolf watching this, whether you're a hardened Sigma or just waking up to the matrix, this next point is your litmus test. Society wants you numb, spending to fill voids. What you're about to hear isn't philosophy, it's your toolkit for rebellion. Stay sharp, this is where you break free. 6. Retail therapy, the enemy within. Most luxury purchases aren't investments, they're emotional morphine. Sigmas dissect this lie with surgical precision. That Gucci belt? A bandage for unhealed inadequacy. That aspirational vacation? A distraction from purpose. While others swipe cards to silence self-doubt, Sigmas sit in the discomfort until it forges titanium resolve. They spend to enhance freedom, not to anesthetize regret. Retail therapy is a trap and Sigmas see it coming. They know that buying things to feel better is like drinking salt water, it only makes you thirstier. Picture a guy who drops $1,000 on a new phone to feel relevant, only to hate his life again a week later. The Sigma? He's got an older model, fully paid, and he's using the savings to build something that lasts. This isn't about rejecting nice things, it's about rejecting weakness. Sigmas don't need a shopping spree to feel whole. They'd rather face their demons than drown them in debt. They know that real strength comes from wrestling with discomfort, not running from it with a credit card in hand. Stoicism teaches that pain is inevitable but suffering is optional. Sigmas don't numb their pain with purchases, they transmute it into power. They'd rather endure the sting of discipline than chase the high of instant gratification. That's the rebellion most men will never understand. 7. The Unleaseable Ego. Weak identities crumble without external validation. Sigmas build theirs in silence. No logo can elevate their worth, no sneer can diminish it. They'll wear the same jacket for years not from frugality alone, but because their sense of self isn't a rented costume. While peers finance fragile egos with credit lines, Sigmas are bulletproof. Most men lease their confidence from brands, followers, or bank accounts. Picture the guy who needs a $200 haircut to feel good about himself. His ego's on a payment plan. Now see the Sigma, unshaken, walking past the salon with a $20 clipper cut he did himself. His worth isn't borrowed, it's built from the inside out. This is about ownership, not optics. Sigmas don't need to signal success because they are success, defined by their terms, not the world's. They've stared into the void of self-doubt and come out stronger, not because of what they own, but because of who they've become. This is Stoic virtue in action. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Sigmas don't want much because they already have what matters, an unshakable core. Their ego isn't for sale, and that's why they're untouchable. 8. Collapse-proof mindset. Sigmas operate with elegant paranoia. They've studied history. Empires fall, markets crash, and secure jobs evaporate. That's why they live like tomorrow's crisis is already here, saving aggressively, skilling relentlessly, and avoiding debt like radioactive waste. When chaos hits, they're not survivors, they're architects of the new order. Most people live like the good times will last forever. Picture the guy who maxes out his credit on a boat because YOLO. Then the recession hits and he's underwater, literally and financially. The Sigma? He's been stacking cash and learning trades, ready to buy that same boat for pennies when the desperate seller folds. This isn't pessimism, it's preparation. Sigmas don't trust the system to save them, they trust themselves to outlast it. They know that every dollar saved today is a weapon for tomorrow, every skill learned a shield against uncertainty. They're not waiting for the collapse, they're planning for it. Stoicism is all about expecting the unexpected. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." Sigmas don't dance through life, they wrestle with it, always ready for the next takedown. That's how you build a mind that doesn't break. 9. Lifestyle inflation, the silent killer. Raises trigger normies to upgrade lifestyles. Sigmas upgrade leverage. They funnel surplus cash into assets that generate exit velocity, not liabilities that demand lifetime labor. That promotion? Not a ticket to a pricier zip code, but fuel for financial fission. Comfort is the enemy, controlled pressure is the forge. Lifestyle inflation is a disease and Sigmas are immune. Picture the guy who doubles his rent because he deserves it after a bonus, only to realize he's still paycheck to paycheck. The Sigma takes that same bonus, invests it, and sleeps in the same modest bed, knowing he's one step closer to owning his time. One's a slave to desire, the other's a master of discipline. This is about rejecting the script. Society says earn more, spend more, but Sigmas say earn more, own more. They don't need a bigger house or a faster car, they need a bigger moat around their freedom. Every dollar kept is a brick in that fortress. This is Stoic discipline at its finest. Seneca warned against letting wealth corrupt your character. Sigmas don't let money change them, they let it empower them. They'd rather live modestly and retire early than live lavishly and work forever. That's the silent rebellion. 10. The Gilded Cage Illusion. Sigmas pity rich slaves. They've seen the truth, the mansion owner sweating mortgage payments, the CEO trapped in golden handcuffs. True wealth isn't Instagram aesthetics, it's the absence of dread on Monday mornings. They'll choose a studio apartment with peace over a penthouse with panic attacks every time. Most men chase the illusion of wealth, thinking it'll set them free. Picture the guy who buys a $2 million house, only to spend 60 hours a week paying it off. His dream owns him. The Sigma sees through it. He'd rather have $200,000 in the bank and no chains than $2 million in assets and a life sentence to the grind. This isn't about rejecting ambition, it's about redefining success. Sigmas know that real freedom isn't about having more, it's about needing less. They don't measure wealth in square footage or horsepower, they measure it in options, in peace, in control. The gilded cage might shine, but it's still a trap. Stoicism teaches that happiness comes from within, not from external trappings. Sigmas live this. They don't need a gilded cage because they've already unlocked the door. Their wealth is invisible, untouchable, and entirely their own. 11. Long-game predators. Sigmas hunt decades ahead. Instant gratification? Bait for the financially illiterate. They invest in compound growth, money, skills, influence, while others chase dopamine hits from unboxing videos. Their patience isn't passive, it's a coiled spring. When short-term players burn out, Sigma sees discounted assets from their ashes. Most people live for today. Picture the guy who blows his savings on a Vegas weekend to feel alive, only to crawl back to a job he hates. The Sigma? He's skipping the trip, learning a new skill, and buying the dip when the market crashes. One's a sprinter who's already gassed, the other's a marathoner pacing for the win. This is about vision, not sacrifice. Sigmas don't need quick wins because they're playing a different game, one where the prize is freedom, not applause. They know that every small choice today compounds into massive leverage tomorrow. They're not just surviving the long game, they're dominating it. This is stoic endurance in action. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly." Sigmas don't chase fleeting highs, they build lasting empires. They're predators of time, and their patience is their sharpest claw. Living below your means isn't deprivation, it's defiance. Sigmas don't rent images, they own realities. While the world performs poverty in luxury costumes, they're building kingdoms in the shadows. This isn't just a video, it's a wake-up call. You've got two choices: stay asleep in the matrix or start stacking your leverage today. If this hit you hard, smash that like button and drop a comment. Tell me which of these 11 reasons lit a fire under you. Share this with the lone wolves in your pack who need to break free. And if you're already subscribed to Sigma Male Community, turn on those notifications. We're dropping truth bombs like this every week. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button now. We're not here to play small, we're here to build empires. Your move, brother, make it count.